Howdy, guys. Welcome to night 66 of Big Brother All-Stars. And this is Cliff Notes from outside the Big Brother house. Good Saturday morning to y'all. We made it to the weekend, as did 5 remaining house guests inside the Big Brother house. One of them isn't going to make it to the next weekend, though. And now we've got a little bit better feel for at least narrowing it down who isn't going to be with us here in a week. They did have the nomination ceremony yesterday. Again, Nicole is HOH, first time this season that she won it. And she put up, it's not a surprise. I don't need a drum roll for this, do I? Nicole, just as expected, put up Christmas and Memphis on the block. If she hadn't put the two of them up together, if she put only Christmas, for example, and Memphis had won Veto, he could have pulled Christmas off, and it would have forced Nicole to put Cody and Enzo up, which we know Nicole does not want to do. So it's no surprise whatsoever that Christmas and Memphis are on the block, but there they are. Now, today is going to be the excitement because we've got a veto competition, and it's the most important veto competition of the whole season. It's going to be a good one. It certainly is going to change the fate of a few people inside this house. So not as much conversations taking place overnight because everyone's waiting to see how the veto comp goes. Everyone went to bed a little bit earlier than usual, so they're mentally prepared for it. And we'll talk about the veto competition here at the very end. But we did have some conversations and some people making some decisions and such. So let's get into it. We'll start off, again, nominations are in. It's Christmas in Memphis. Let's start off in the kitchen. This is right after feeds were cut. I think nomination ceremony was finished up, I don't know, maybe 5:30 or so, West Coast Big Brother time. A little bit after that, the feeds came back on. We see in the kitchen, Christmas is rubbing Memphis's foot. I don't know if it's just to be nice, to get him ready for the competition, or Memphis was complaining earlier in the week that he had injured that foot, the ankle, jumping into the swimming pool and hitting the bottom. Not sure what the whole story was, but he actually did see a medic. So Christmas is working with him on his foot and trying to get him up to speed, ready for this competition. Meanwhile, in the HOH room, we've got Enzo and Nicole are talking. Enzo is saying, hey, Christmas came to me right after the nominations, Nicole, and said that if the two of them, Memphis and Christmas, are on the block and I win Veto, that it would be a great opportunity for me to be able to go in and break the two of y'all up. Just like I said was going to happen. Yes, Enzo did indeed say that was going to be the campaign pitch. And he's right. They're saying it all falls down to Enzo because Christmas and Memphis realize as well it doesn't help necessarily for either one of them to win Veto. It saves them, which is certainly important, but in order for them to both stay off the block, they need someone else, i.e. Enzo, to win that Veto and use that to pull one of them off, force Cody up, and rely on Enzo to support them with a vote against Cody. Isn't going to happen, but that's what they're banking on. So Enzo predicted, and that's what's going on. They want him to win the Veto, use it on one of them, and then put Cody up instead. Enzo's upset. He says, I want both of them gone. I don't want either one of them sticking around at this point in time. I want us three, and that's it. Nicole is saying, you know what? I don't care who goes home right now. Either one of them is fine. I just want one of them to go home. Enzo is saying that Cody is done with Christmas. He's tired of it. He is done with Christmas, ready to send her out the door. But Enzo mentions that he really thinks that Memphis is the head of the snake. And you'll hear throughout the evening, Enzo is continuing to push Memphis as his primary target. Nicole going back and forth a little bit. Cody really seems to be focused on sending Christmas out. So that's where we get a little conflict and what we'll see over the coming up days as far as what may or may not happen with that vote, depending on what happens to the veto, right? Enzo talks about the fact that he is just more scared of Memphis than he is of Christmas. That, yes, he knows Christmas came close on a couple of these competitions, but he thinks Memphis is much stronger competitive-wise. They talk a little bit more about the fact that Christmas seems to kind of fall apart under pressure when she's rushed, and so Enzo thinks that she's just not going to be as good a competitor as Memphis in these end competitions. So he wants Memphis gone. Nicole thinks that Christmas is more to blame for conspiring and concocting all these stories and these plans and everything. I kind of disagree. I think Memphis has been doing plenty of that. Look at his different wise guys, the committee alliance in the beginning. Memphis has been behind a whole bunch of strategies so far, so I don't necessarily agree with Nicole on that. Enzo says, nah, I think they've both been doing it. I think they're both equally involved with that kind of stuff. Nicole and Enzo are watching Christmas. They're up in the HOH room. They're watching on the TV monitor. They're watching downstairs Christmas in the kitchen, massaging Memphis's feet, as I said, her foot. Enzo is saying, yeah, Christmas. She's using facials, foot rubs, hair plucking, all this stuff just to do game talk. While she's doing this stuff, she's talking all kinds of game. And we'll see some more of that in just a little bit. Nicole is wondering, she said, I don't get it. Why was everyone so scared of Memphis and Christmas? I just put them both on the block, and it was super easy. That was an easy nomination ceremony. Well, yeah, it kind of is. When you're down to 5 people, you don't have a whole lot of choices, and they don't have a whole lot of people that they can fall back on either. The committee's gone. There's no more committee alliance. So, yeah, it's a little easier now, Nicole, than it used to be. But she's saying, that was easy. We shouldn't be scared of those two. Nicole again is talking to Enzo about her HOH letter from Victor. She's worried at this point now. She's worried that it's going to look bad when this is aired on TV, that the letter did not say they were proud of her or anything else. So she thinks that it's just going to be a bad part of the episode on CBS when they show her with her letter. She's very worried about that. Enzo is upset. He's looking at the very end of this thing. He said, yo, how come we haven't had more luxury competitions? We haven't had more prizes to give away. I wanted to see a lot more of that, especially for All-Stars. And he's saying he wants the have-nots are gone. So he wants the have-not room converted into some kind of movie theater that you can at least win passes to go see some movie or something like that. Yeah, I get it. I wish we'd had more prizes and luxury comps in my season as well. We had 2 veto comps that I didn't get to play in either one. And we had one competition where it was $10,000 prize, and I didn't win that. I wish we'd had some more movies, concerts, football games. That would have been cool. But, hey, they didn't ask me about it. All right. They didn't ask Enzo either. Christmas comes in for a little while. And when she leaves, Nicole says, look, Christmas is only here because there have been bigger threats in the house. Christmas hadn't done anything. She just hadn't been a big enough threat to worry about up until this point in time. Enzo is saying, yeah, well, whatever. I don't trust her at all. I just don't trust Christmas. You can see what's going on here. Cody and Nicole and Enzo are doing everything they can to villainize and make sure that there's zero uncertainty that Christmas and Memphis are the targets, and no one needs to be thinking about anything other than those two, because as tight as those 3 are, they've still got to have suspicions in the very back of their mind that what if someone's playing something on me as well? So they're all trying to do everything they can to make sure everyone else understands just how huge a threat of Christmas and Memphis are, just to make sure the target doesn't go on them. All right, so Enzo is again pushing that Memphis needs to go, that he's just the better player. That's all there is to it, Nicole. Nicole is talking about the fact, and this is an interesting point. Nicole says, look, Memphis is only out for himself. He's been like that since the very start of the season. He doesn't care about anyone else. He's playing this game for himself, and there is 0% chance that he's going to throw that veto to you, Enzo. And I absolutely agree with Nicole. She is 100% correct on this. Memphis will not throw the veto. Memphis will win the veto, and he'll rely on his wise guy alliance with Cody and Enzo to think that he's going to get carried on the rest of the way, and he will pitch Christmas off to the side. But Christmas doesn't know that, or at least she doesn't want to voice that out. They're talking about Nicole and Enzo, that Memphis really is the only one they don't want to win the veto. If Christmas wins it, she pulls herself off, which isn't great, but they still send Memphis out the door, and so they're okay with that. They are agreeing that if it's Cody and Enzo and Nicole versus Christmas as a Final Four, that they definitely have the best odds for the 3 of them to advance to a Final 3. And I agree. They're absolutely correct. The problem is you shouldn't be playing this game for a Final 3 slot. You should be playing the game for a Final 2 position and the ability to argue in front of the jury. Enzo better be careful with that, because there's a big difference between Final 3 and Final 2. But they're right. Their odds will be good to make it Final 3, the 3 of them. They're talking about the last HOH competition and agreeing that Memphis was definitely cheering for Christmas in that HOH. Well, sure. I absolutely would expect that. I would not expect otherwise. Enzo is wondering if Christmas is going to be mad if he votes her out. Well, yeah, I think Christmas will be bitter enough that she'll be upset. But Nicole thinks that she'll be even more mad at Nicole, and I think that's probably true as well. Everyone's eating dinner together. Enzo made salmon. Christmas made zucchini. Enzo later tells Nicole, said, "Nah, that zucchini wasn't even any good. It was bad. This is just pile up on Christmas and Memphis night. Primarily pile up on Christmas." Enzo and Cody are alone in the kitchen. Enzo is saying, "Hey, yo, man, Memphis wants you to go up, and he doesn't realize how tight you and I are, Cody." Well, that's true on both counts. In the HOH room, Christmas and Nicole are talking. Nicole seems to be avoiding getting into any game talk whatsoever. She keeps talking about beauty products and they're trying out foot masks, anything to avoid talking game with Christmas. Eventually, Christmas says, "Hey, all right, we'll just talk game tomorrow instead." And Nicole is saying, "Yeah, I just don't want to talk. I don't want to talk game tonight. I'm relaxing. I'm getting ready to do a coffee scrub. Let's talk about it later. I don't want to talk about game tonight." It is going to be a long week for Nicole as Christmas campaigns. Even though Nicole isn't making the actual vote, it seems like Christmas is banking on Nicole being the one to sway Memphis to maybe save her at the end. So she's going to be spending a lot of time with Nicole over this next week. In the bathroom, Memphis and Cody are talking. Memphis is saying he wouldn't be surprised if Christmas starts throwing him under the bus if one of them doesn't win the veto. Well, of course, because they're going to be on the block together. She'll throw him under the bus, and he'll throw her under the bus. It's the way you play the game. Memphis is saying that Christmas isn't aware that Memphis and Cody or Enzo are in the Wise Guy Alliance. Well, yeah, Christmas may not be aware, but Memphis also doesn't know that Cody knows about the second Wise Guy Alliance between Enzo and Memphis and Christmas. So a lot of people don't know everything. Memphis and Cody move up to the HOH room with the girls up there. Cody puts on a face mask as well. Everyone's planning for an early night since they have the POV tomorrow. In the HOH room, Cody and Enzo are talking. They're laughing, actually, because as soon as Nicole got called to the diary room, Christmas left. And they're saying, "Nah, she doesn't want to talk to us at all. She just wants to hang with Nicole, and that's it." Cody is also saying that Memphis is already getting upset with Christmas because he sees Christmas following Nicole around, and he knows that she's throwing him under the bus. They're talking about a plan to let Enzo win the veto and get Cody on the block, as we've talked about before. They're agreeing that this is probably Christmas's plan that she's presented to Memphis. He's probably fine with it, but may not be thinking it'll work. They're laughing that Memphis doesn't know that Cody knows about the Wise Guys plan. And that Enzo knows about the committee. So Memphis has a few things that he isn't aware of in terms of some secrets that have been spilled also. Nicole returns from the diary room. She asks Cody if he's still okay getting Memphis out this week. So now it sounds like she's talking a little bit more about sending Memphis out the door, which Enzo wants as well. Cody says, "Yeah, I've always been okay with that. That's fine with me." And again, Enzo points out that, "Hey, I just think Memphis is a better player." Cody wants to give Memphis a heads up on Thursday, but Enzo and Nicole are saying, "Yeah, let's just blindside him. I don't want him talking to people and things like that." I get both ways. You don't know anyone information. If you want to blindside it, do it. But I'm sure Cody's thinking about it from a jury vote standpoint. If he's the one that spills the beans to Memphis, the other two don't, then maybe Memphis will be little more grateful to Cody if it comes time to a vote. All right, so in the key room, Christmas is giving Memphis some kind of rolling pin facial. Memphis later returns a favor. They're very chummy tonight. In the HOH room, Cody, Nicole, and Christmas are talking. More talk about the games from earlier this season. Nicole's wondering if Enzo had an alliance with everyone else in the house. Enzo just says, "Hey, yo, man, I was friendly with everyone." Enzo's playing a good social game. Nicole is saying they cannot let Memphis win veto, and that if she gets even a whiff that Cody or Enzo are throwing this veto, she's going to nominate them as a replacement. And they're laughing when they say it. Cody is saying, "I don't like to be threatened, Nicole. Based on what you just said, I'm going to throw it to Memphis. I'm going to let him win it just to force you to put one of us up." So just joking around. They're talking finally about families, marriages, etc. before the lights go out and they all go to bed for an early evening. So there you have it, guys. Now we've got a veto competition tomorrow. We have not seen BB Comics. We have not seen Slip and Slide. We also haven't seen Hide and Go Veto. We can't get all three of them at this point in time. I'm thinking it could be Slip and Slide. I also think it could be another BB Flicks and Chill like we had last season, because that one you can play in the basement. You don't have to have a big setup in the backyard. So they may be going that way, but I kind of hope it's BB Comics. but we'll see. It's going to be today, this morning. So in 24 hours, I'll be back. We'll talk some more Big Brother, and we should have a little bit clearer picture about who's going home. Guys, y'all have a great Saturday. I will talk to y'all in 24 hours. SKD 143. Giga Maggies beat the hell out of Florida. Cheers, guys. Bye.